Welcome back to MetaMinds, where we are all about relentless self-development and consciousness optimization. Today we're here with Trista, who is an avid traveler, self-proclaimed hippie and tea enthusiast.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of your recent travels, Trista?
Yeah, cool. Hey guys, thanks for having me, fellas. Recently, quite recent, last week I got back from WA. I was over experiencing beautiful Margaret River. Did some canoeing along Margaret River. It was absolutely amazing. The area isn't just about wine, but it is a lot about wine as well, as I worked out. That was pretty amazing, learning about the local history and the Aboriginal history and everything just of Margaret River. And obviously travelled a lot, but Australia is also amazing. Actually, by far is my favourite country. So,
huge. That's a big call.
Yeah, I've been to a few, so. But we're pretty lucky, I guess. We're able just to come back to Australia. If we go travelling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We just got beautiful beaches here, and we go to Asian countries where people are obviously not very wealthy, and then we're like, oh, we've got to go home now. And they're like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah, definitely. And some beaches in Asia are quite amazing as well. We're pretty lucky. We are an island surrounded by beautifulness.
Yeah, I haven't actually done much like Australia travel as well, because I'm always trying to go elsewhere rather than coming here.
Do you have any recommendations for Eamon, maybe?
I've been to Sydney. That's it.
Sydney's cool.
Yeah.
You'd like Melbourne, though.
Everyone tells me that.
Yeah.
Everyone
And have
tells
you done
me
the reef? Have you been up
that. No, I haven't done that.
Gosh, come on, man.
Yeah, I need to sort that out.
But yeah, it is quite normal. A lot of people and people that I meet travelling as well that are Aussies, they've done next to nothing in Australia. But yeah, because I've worked in the tourism industry, I've been lucky enough to travel Australia through work. And I guess starting at a young age in a family. Well, I didn't have a family. Our family would go on road trips because there were so many of us who couldn't afford to fly anywhere. So we'd be like driving up to Townsville for school holidays. Cool. I get car seat, great. And then we're driving down to Melbourne because all my mum's family was down there. But yeah, I guess started travelling at a young age in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Do you have a country count?
So 46.
Wow, huge.
That's
Well, that's including Australia though. So
yeah,
45.
Still counts, I
that
think.
still counts, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I just got that when I was born here, right? But I've travelled it as
still
well.
counts.
Yeah.
So 46. Woo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've lived in other countries as well, not just travelled. I've lived in Canada for 2 years, which is definitely my other favourite place to live in the world. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing over there. The people are great, just like Aussies. They've got the same kind of thing going on, but they've just got amazing mountains. We've got amazing beaches.
And it gets a little bit colder sometimes.
Yeah.
And also snows.
Yeah,
But otherwise basically the same.
but that's the thing. People ride the snow over there. People ride the waves over here. So it's kind of like...
There you go.
And we're just,
Contrast.
the Commonwealth, we're just great people.
Mostly Canada, though. They seem to have their stuff, at least politically as well, sort of a little bit better than us.
Yeah.
And their food, you'd love it.
I've been there.
Oh, no, that's right.
Like, a lot.
Sorry, I just think I'm the only one that's been in Canada.
So, Trista, what is so important about travel?
Well, for me specifically, it definitely is about my own self-growth. I took my first international trip when I was 19. Did the whole, I'm going backpacking around Europe, getting the work visa. I lasted like a month in England, was like, this is cold and it's expensive. When I went though, the Aussie dollar was like $2.50 to £1. And my friends were earning like £5 an hour. I was like, what? Anyway, so I just backpacked around Europe for 3 months. And that was pretty full on. I was 19, traveling with another girl, and she's a very amazing girl. She's very artistic, so her sense of direction wasn't as good as mine. So it's kind of like me like calling shots, and I'm kind of like, oh, am I being bossy? But I feel like I grew so much in that trip just then, like at 19. That's a big thing. Like I look now, my younger siblings at 19, like, I don't know, I just wish they could do the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, being so young and just throwing yourself into there, you just got to like, hey, I've got to get to this hostel. I got to get this train. And the first thing I remember we did, we got to Paris, we didn't have a hostel booked. That was hell. We were walking the streets, and that was just from that moment. I was like, I will always arrive into somewhere with a hostel or hotel or something booked.
Yeah.
You don't want that stress. Obviously, you're like, okay, cool, it'll be fun. But
Then 3 hours later, it's dark.
that's not when you know.
On the street.
In the middle of Paris, I don't know where I am. But we did end up in the De Clichy area, which is near Moulin Rouge, so it is the prostitute area, so we're fine. Could have got some work, you're fine. If we didn't find a place. But yeah, Moulin Rouge, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's important for me from when I was 19. I'm 31 now, still going. And I guess going to other countries that you don't speak the same language. That's quite cool. Communication, I have found, is a lot through body language. and lots of smiling and nodding. Like, yeah, okay, just smile and be considerate. But yeah, trying to pick up a bit of language when you are in countries is also awesome because people do respect you a lot more and they will try and help you.
Yeah.
Especially in places like France, I've heard.
Yeah, there is a big thing about France. People are like, they're so rude, they're abrupt, but that's just their nature. And if they don't know our language, they won't be able to speak our language. And unfortunately, Australia, there is a lot of racism. Excuse me, I don't know what that word's. There is a lot of racism here, so people are unfortunately the same, and I'm sure around the world people are going to go back home and be like, oh, some Australian people were rude to me, which we shouldn't be, guys, because we're all from this, like, this world is ours. We're all walking on it. It doesn't belong to anyone just because you're from this place. Like, we all should be able to open the borders.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, like, I like the idea of borders as like a suggestion for like, hey, this is kind of where we were born and we're different because of this, but like not as like I need to stamp your thing and I need to know exactly who you are when you're coming. You know, like obviously we're not going to be able to dissolve that now, but but a good point that I think you're touching on there. Like I find whenever I'm in like a new kind of country, it just like it hits you in the face that it's like the world that this bubble that you live in when you're at your home, wherever that is. It's like tiny speck of nothingness, basically. Yeah. And you walk out onto the street in Asia and it's just absolute chaos and motorbikes going everywhere and you're like,
but it's
what's
working.
Going on? Yeah, that's it. It works. It just works. And the power lines are like 5 million of them or whatever. But it just makes you realize there's much more than just you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and at any given time, we're sitting here having this podcast. That same thing's happening in Asia right now. You know what I mean? Everywhere. Like, so I don't know. I always have that thought. It's just like, it bursts your bubble of this thing that you live in, I think, which is like really hugely important.
Yeah, certainly.
You mentioned before that early on you started road trips with your family.
Yeah.
Was that like one of the early things that got you into exploring and traveling, or were there other things after that really ignited that passion?
Yeah, good question. I actually got car sick, so I didn't really love those trips too much.
Like that?
Oh, you weren't even joking.
There you go.
No, I get motion sickness.
Oh, true. Okay.
But it hasn't stopped me, trust me.
Yeah.
So we were going, I think at the other end, like I was seeing my family in Melbourne or like our family friends up in Townsville, so that was pretty cool. But I think what got me when I went on my first flight when I was like 11, I went from Brizzy to Melbourne as an unaccompanied minor. It's called when you don't go with adults. So yeah, my mum dropped me off at the airport in Brizzy, and then the other end, my uncle and auntie met me. So with my sister, I was like, this is pretty cool. You know, the flight attendants were babes, and we were just up the back, coming in, doing her own thing. My sister's shitting herself, and she's still, I'm swearing, that's right. she's still a really bad flyer, and that's just who she is. But I still love her for it, poor thing. But yeah, I just fell in love with flying. I was like, okay, cool, I want to be one of those ladies. So I wanted to be a flight attendant for a long time.
Yep.
And then I actually realised, no, I don't want to be a flight attendant. I just want to go places.
Yeah.
So then it just got me addicted.
So cool.
But it is kind of like the thing, once you start, you can't stop. So when I first went to Europe that time, I met some amazing Canadians. And then, you know, I was like, oh, damn it, I didn't really do my work visa. I wasted my 1 or 2 year work visa I was supposed to have in the UK. Then my friend's saying to me, oh, you can do Canada, you know, you're there in the Commonwealth, you can do 2 years. I was like, oh, okay. Got back when I was like 20, and then a couple of years later, I decided to move to Canada when I was 23. So from one trip, you know, it stems onto everything. You meet people and even when you're traveling like South America and Central America, you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's called the Gringo Trail. You're like, where are we going tomorrow? What are we doing after here? You just kind of follow on with people, but you talk to people and you end up like going with the flow.
It definitely changes your journey because you meet people and they're like, I heard about this really cool thing. It's only 20 k's this way. And you're like, well, we've got to do that now because this guy said it was awesome. He did it today. You know what I mean? So
let's go.
That's it. Like, but yeah, like I used to be like very planned on my travels and have every single thing like that hostel situation. Like that would freak me out even thinking about that.
Yeah.
And I've like slowly developed into the point where I'm actually doing the opposite of that now. Where I'm like, I'll go there and like maybe have a rough idea of where I want to go, but then do that thing where you're like, I met this guy and he's going this way. I'm going to jump on a bus and go with him, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the scariest but the most freeing thing you'll like ever experience. Like,
for sure.
But yeah, being able to get to that point where you can let go and just kind of let the universe do its thing for you.
For sure. And that is the good thing about not having plans. Everything is totally scary about traveling. I still get scared with traveling. And that's a lot of things I feel like people, don't be scared, guys. But that scariness isn't like, oh no, I'm going to get stabbed. The scariness is kind of the unknown. So people don't like to travel because they don't know what's at the other end. Yep. But there is really nothing to be scared about because you're still on the same earth. Everyone's so friendly. Wherever you go, you know, unless you're doing the wrong thing, and unless you sleep and walk around dark alleys at night, then you're going to be okay. And there is a lot, like in every city you go to, there's tourist information. You can just pop in there and be like, hey, where should I go? Get a map. And most of the time they should, someone should be there to be able to speak English to tell you what's going on. Or if you just want, the safe holidays and go into like hotels.
Bali.
Bali, bro. Hey, look, I love Bali. I've been to Bali twice. And I want to go back and do more of the island. So, when you first go, you do like the Aussie Bali. You just go to Kuta and get wild at the Bounty and whatnot. But anyway.
Mentioning specific bars.
No, look, no advertisement here. But no, you've got to do it. But even that's the thing. And, working in the travel industry, people come in, their first trip. It's a couple, I did send to Bali last month, and it was the first time that she's even gone on a flight out of Australia.
Wow.
So that was a big thing, and that's good. We're so lucky that we can go on a 5-6 hour flight and we're in another country, another beautiful place, even though we are on a little island stuck down here.
Little?
Yeah, look, it's a big island continent or something they call it.
So when it comes to future travels now, where do you get like ideas of where to go next or the inspiration for your next travel?
I have a list in the back of my head. It's kind of like gonna do soon, gonna do when I find a sugar daddy, gonna do when I retire,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, there's 196 countries at the moment. Not sure I'm going to get to all of them.
Not with that attitude.
Hey, I'm going to try. I wasn't finished. But in the ways of, things being blocked off and things for really unsafe reasons why you can't travel.
All right, maybe with that attitude.
Yeah. Got to be realistic. But yeah, I think the thing is, it still stems onto people that I know either from that country or I did some diving when I was in Central America. So now I know I want to go to the Philippines and do diving. And there's spots in Indonesia I want to do diving. And other people on Instagram I see going places makes me want to go to them places. But yeah, just the wonder. We're like, hey, Mongolia, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Let's go there. I want to do the Trans-Siberian, go all the way over to Russia, what's going on in Russia?
Metamines and Trista do Russia?
Yeah. Hey, I'm keen. Let's do it. Will you guys sponsor my travel?
We can try. We can give you tea. Like, that's our payment.
Wait a minute.
But then she gets arrested at the border because it's like, what is this?
What is this? Yeah.
This is from Metamines.
Oh no, branded tea bags. That's our next venture.
Oh, stop it. We're just coming up with business ideas.
Oh no.
I better get a cut.
Yeah, true.
We just have your face on the front.
Yeah.
It's her with the boogie bag.
Yeah, that's great.
But I see what you mean. It's always like, what is it like on the flight back? You always like, what's that next? Like, all right, I'm chilling. I'm done with this like traveling at the moment, and then you're like, but where am I going next? Or like a few weeks after you get back, you're like, okay, cool, but like, where am I going next? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to be like that, but now I need to have something booked before I go on my next trip.
Whoa.
So yeah.
So you've got 2 trips booked at all times.
I'm addicted.
Wow. There you go.
Literally.
Hey, literally, man.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm proud.
If there's one good thing to be addicted to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Right?
Better than like hard drugs in space.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So I tend to always have something booked or something that I know that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing though. It's in your mind telling you like, oh no, not like, oh I think I might go there. But telling yourself this is happening, I'm doing this. And I set myself little goals about saving, and then I know, cool, I'm saving this much for this trip. This is coming up now. So in August I'm going just for a week to LA and Vegas. And then I'm going to Nepal in September on Intrepid.
Very cool.
Free advertising,
Stop
guys.
it.
There you go.
I love Intrepid.
And then, Philippines is in the works for next year as well. So I already know, like, my head's always ticking, because I don't have a home loan, I don't have a car, so my money is spent on travel. I'm addicted.
Which is great, yeah. Do you normally plan to go with other people, or are you a solo traveler normally? Like, what's the go when you've planned this stuff in advance?
Yeah.
Do you have someone in mind to go with sometimes?
I love traveling solo.
Yeah.
But my friends also love traveling with me because I am such a good traveler.
Yeah.
And so I've got a name for myself. My friends call me Miss Trist because they think I'm a little queen when we go traveling. Just, I don't know, I'm just in my element when I'm on the road. I'm kind of like, I know what's going on. I got this.
Yeah.
I got because I sounded a bit on myself. Anyway.
They're just like, who are you? You just turn into just like this advanced being, like
super efficient. That's great.
But I guess certain areas, like when I was living in Canada, I wanted to do Mexico. I was only 23, and I didn't want to go down to Mexico by myself as like blonde, beautiful girl. So I spoke with my mates back home and worked for a tour company for Intrepid. So I was like, hey, I might just do a tour, go and do that. So I'm solo, but on that is other solo females. Yep. You meet them, so you're not solo.
God, I love Intrepid so much.
Damn that advertisement. And then when I just went to India, I went over like Christmas, New Year. I have a friend that lived in the south, so I stayed with her over Christmas and New Year. So I went over there solo, and then I wanted to do the Golden Triangle, and she's already done that. So I wasn't going to be like, hey, come up and do it with me. Mm-hmm. So then I just jumped on an Intrepid again. Yeah. Sorry?
Nothing.
He's just having a separate thought.
It better have been about travel. But yeah, it kind of really all depends. You know, when you kind of want to go with someone to share that, but if I'm solo, like, you're never solo. That's the other thing. You're like, oh, I don't want to go by myself. When you stay in a hostel, it's the best place to meet people. Yeah, and when you're traveling solo, you can decide when you want to talk to people. Yeah. You don't want to talk to people, you can be just like headphones in, do your own thing. Yeah. If you're feeling social that day, you're like, hey, go to the bar, happy hour, what's up? Yeah. So it's kind of, bit of
benefits to both.
Definitely takes, it's like a lot of kind of confidence, or I guess it's a much scarier thing to travel by yourself, but it is comforting to know that there's these places pretty much everywhere that you can go to, that there's people that you can meet that generally going to speak your language, whether they're from your country or another country that just speaks your language now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what helped me grow a lot as well, traveling solo, because it made me have to talk to people. Obviously, I can talk underwater now. But
it's from all this talking to people.
It's from all the solo trips,
But when I travelled through Central America, I went over solo, and I was doing a bit of travel by myself for a week or so. Then I met some guys. We cruised into Guatemala in a van. Then I met some chicks. Then I met them later on, and there was 2 solo females that met. They're both from the UK, and they were travelling together. So then I tacked on, and then there was us 3 travelling together. So it's kind of solo females meet up. And guys always tend to travel in packs.
Yeah?
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I found. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's the odd like solo or 2 guy thing, but I have found there's a lot of females that travel solo. But in saying that, we do tend to latch onto each other and be like, hey, let's go here together.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's if you're in the same mindset of like wanting to travel, then that's a good thing. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about some experiences or some things that you've seen that have like changed your mindset significantly, or at least changed how you think about the world significantly? So I know there's a lot of poorer countries out there. There's also a lot of like richer countries out there. Yeah,
for sure. That's a big one.
Yeah, it is a big one.
Because I have obviously been to. I've been a lot through Europe, and then I have been through Central and South America. I guess the big thing is, I think we touched on it earlier about how amazing Australia is, and being able to come back to Australia and being able to... I've just helped a chick, she's going to Canada, which is awesome. Not going off topic, I'll come back to the big one, don't worry. She's going to live in Canada, she's doing a one-way flight, she's scared shitless. I'm like, you'll be fine. What's the worst that's going to happen? She goes, I'm going to run out of money and come home, which we can do.
Yeah.
How fucking lucky are we?
Yeah.
So if we run out of money, we can come home, probably get a job in 2 weeks. Sweet. Make some more money and go travelling. So that, in saying that, when you go to these other countries and people just don't have work, people can't get work, you kind of just, you've got so much gratitude for how lucky we are in Australia. But also in saying that, in Peru, another one of my favourite countries, they're so happy to have nothing.
Yeah, that is what's
And I remember being on a bus going through like northern Peru, and I was just looking out the window, as you do, and there was just kids kicking around like a plastic bottle. They had no shoes on, it was dirt, it was a desert area in the northern Peru, and they were just kicking a plastic bottle around, laughing, having fun, and it's kind of a lot of places. And they all, like in Japan, for instance, they all live together, like the whole families live together. I could never live with my mum anymore. Like,
it's like 12, 15 people.
And these are wealthy countries, but that's how they live. Yeah. And just because the density of their population, they have to live on top of each other. But they love it, Yeah. And just from one extreme to another, and it's, And then obviously the unfortunate uneducation of the whole world with recycling is heart-wrenching when you see, dad just throws something and the kid's never going to learn, and you go through some places and just piles of rubbish on the side of the road. We're pretty aware and switched on down here, I still think. And Canada actually is really onto it. Yeah, there's a lot of
like
places.
10 different bins.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, like, especially because you have to buy bottled water in those countries because they don't even have like clean water out of taps there. Like, just like when I'm traveling through like Asia and South America and stuff, like, and I have to buy new water bottles every single day. It just kills me because I'm like, oh, here's all this plastic, and it takes a lot of water to actually make the plastic as well.
Yeah. India is actually pretty good.
Oh, really?
A lot of the hotels that we're at, they were allowed us to refill their bottles. Yeah. And I think they have started the first country in the world that have banned like plastic forks and knives and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why
I don't watch the
India
news
better than us?
because there's 1.13 billion of them, and they've got to be better.
Yeah.
But like, because obviously, I guess what they're doing is making a big crunch on, because just because of numbers, guys.
Yeah.
But I don't really watch the news, but I did hear something about it. Sorry, I should have that fact.
No, it's okay. We do that all the time. We're like, I don't know, we heard that somewhere, and it's like, anyway.
It sounds good.
Lost, yeah.
But going back to that point, like whenever I'm like traveling through poorer countries, like that's the hugest thing that I always take away. I mean, there's a lot of big things, but one of the biggest things, you just see a lady sitting on the corner of the street selling like one cigarette at a time all day long.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is just what we do, and this is okay. Like, there's no, like, in the West, and especially here, like, there's so much rumination, and people obviously are just stuck in their thought loops about who they are and what's going on, and, like, what does this person think of me? They're just like, this is what we do, and this is how it is, and everything's okay, and I'm okay with that, you know? And they go home, and they love their family and everyone, and they have a laugh and stuff like that. Yeah, they're so happy and content with such little, and here we are stuck, like, addicted to our Instagram feeds, being like, what next thing do I have next?
Yeah.
And you get that next thing, and it's like, what next thing do I have next? That's not to say travel, because like that's fine to be addicted to, but like,
no, that it is big, and that's definitely has in my mind happened so much, and just to see just how happy they are, and it's great, and it's hard for me to convey that and come back and say, you know, I try and teach my nieces and nephews just about things like that. You know, they want to have their technology when they have their technology time. You're like, hey, let's just go outside. We go outside, we go to the park, whatever. But just trying to instill and teach millennials, or just any younger than millennials. What's the next ones?
Gen Z?
I think it is. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's traveling, I guess, will just teach them. Just go and realize that, hey, one, you're lucky that you don't have to share a room with any sibling or your whole family, and how people live in these little houses, and they're all so happy, and these little shacks places, and just even having mobile phones or running water.
Yeah.
Right down to basics, like running clean water. Places don't have that I've been to, and you just take the little things for granted, and we shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I guess something else that keeps me going is that like immediately after travel, I have this like glowing gratitude for all the tiny things, but then it kind of slowly fades away. Even if I'm in a zone of like trying to remind myself of these things, and that's why I continue to travel all the time, because I know that as soon as I go over there, whether it's Europe or Asia or whatever, I'm still gonna like get there and be like, oh my god, look at this thing that I get to do. It's fantastic. Like, what's going on? You know, like what is going on? I just got on a platform, and it like just jumped up into the sky and took me across like 20,000 kilometers to another place where people speak another language from like millions of years ago. Like, what is going on? You know what I mean?
It still blows my mind.
Yeah.
I've done hundreds of flights, and it still blows my mind, and I have gratitude for getting on a plane and ending up on the other side of the world. It's crazy. Science. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a couple of things recently, but let's not go there.
Hey, but the percentage of planes that get to where they need to go all the time, it's good.
It's high.
It is scary though when you get on a plane, you like put your seatbelt on. It's like, I don't have control of anything for the next X hours. You know what I mean? It's like,
you do. You got the movies.
Movies. There's a bathroom.
You got wine, please.
Wine, just a non-stop wine. It's like, the plane is crashing. Where's my wine?
Yeah, still waiting on that
wine to go down, or tea.
Or tea. There you go. So the question I was curious about is, for those people who, you know, are doubting wanting to travel, or they're you know, in their own world, and they're worried about losing money or losing a job, what kind of advice would you have for them, or maybe experiences that you could share that would maybe instill some sort of excitement in people?
I guess just a big thing, you do only live once.
Yeah.
So and what we touched on before is that anything can happen. Like with my mate, moved to Canada, what happens, ran out of money, you can come home, get another job. I'm sure you might have, if financial is the problem, just try and save up enough money so you're comfortable with going places with the money. It just comes so naturally to me, it's hard. Yeah. But it's kind of, you can't really do anything wrong You know, it's your journey. If you go here and then I've had journeys where I'm like, I'm going to go for, when I went to Central, I was going to travel for 6 months and I was going to go to Canada after. Ended up traveling for 4 months. I was kind of like, the plans didn't go to order. I started running out of money and I had to come home. And that was okay because I still had a hella cool trip.
Yeah.
It was a shame I didn't get to go up to Canada and do Calgary Stampede, but that's right. You know, that'll come around again. But I guess just the thing, like, you're not going to fail at travel. I think. Well, I haven't yet. But you're not going to fail. But that's the thing. You can just pick yourself up, go to where you want to go, don't be worried, and
Yeah. Nice.
I do love that, like, just the don't worry thing, because as I said, like, at the start of, like, when I started traveling, I was in that, like, worrying, like, what's the next thing to be, and oh my god, you know what I mean? But it's like, just don't, like, worry about it, just do things because they're there to do, and, like, you have such a limited time, and time is the only resource that you have, so, like, just go to other countries and experience different things, I suppose, like.
And, like, going back to basics, meeting people in hostels, just doing things. If you're worried about being scared and not meeting people, just stay in hostels. Stay in party hostels. You can find them, like on hostel.com, I always look for the ones that have bars. So if you want to be in that comfort zone.
For the wines.
No, for the wines. So you're in that comfort zone if you want to meet people. If you don't want to meet people, you just read the reviews and it says, this is loud, this is noisy at night. Yeah, that's someone to book that. 10-bed dorm, let's go. But just in the fact, you know, anyone can save money. If you can save money to buy a car, save money to, you know, buy a new stereo, like, just keep on saving that money and just do a little bit of research or find someone that's travelled to that place before and be like, hey, I want to go there. What do you reckon? You know, we're very lucky to have the World Wide Webs and Google has a lot on there. And then even travel blogs people have, they tell you how to travel these places. It's very easy. All the resources are there. You just have to take the plunge and grow.
That's great. Was there a specific trip early on that you recognised, like, igniting this passion in you? Because, like, you clearly, from what you're saying, are so passionate about traveling now, and you even said you want to do it for the rest of your life, right? Of course. So was there a trip or a few trips that really stood out to you as that turning point, maybe?
I think living in Canada. I think there was a big turning point in just, as weird as it sounds, loving my life. Just realising how cool that place was, and I was just really happy, and to have that, like, be able to, hey, I'm from Australia, but I can live here for 2 years. And I grew so much there. I went by myself. I was lucky enough to be able to move in with my cousin's brother-in-law. So I had a place to stay, which is pretty cool. But there's a lot of means and ways that you can get set up with working abroad, holiday teams that set you up with a job and somewhere to live and help you with the flights and your visa. So there's ways around it. Not around it, sorry. There's ways to not just do it solo. There's people there to help you. But just, I don't know, I just had this moment. I just loved Canada. It was beautiful. The people were nice. And when I was in Canada, I popped down to Mexico. I went over to Egypt and Jordan. Like, I was accessible to everything. And I was kind of like, hey, I can just do this. This is my thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So in
like,
wrapping up, we've got about a minute and a half left.
I thought we were doing an hour.
You can crush it if we've got enough content.
No, it's Friday. I need a wine.
Any particular, like, tips for millennials or people that, I suppose, like, we've had a lot of, like travel tips and stuff, but any just, like, general life tips for millennials or people that are looking to get outside of their comfort zone?
Try not to listen to other people. A lot of people like to give you a negative thought on something. They're like, oh, don't go to Bali, that was shit when I went there. Try not to listen to other people's thoughts. You know, we're very fortunate, as again, where we're from, you need to experience things on your own and have your own opinion about life. It's about anything, about going to a restaurant around the corner. Like, if someone's had a bad experience, you know, you don't know how they were that day. They might have been feeling bad. Chef might have spat their meal, whatever. I don't know. But, you know, try not to listen to other people's opinions for yourself. You know, try and, you know, punch it out. Do your own thing. And then, just try and save your money. Be thrifty. I think the big thing for me is...
use the same tea bag more than once.
There you go.
We'll talk about it. No. But I don't have a car. I'm lucky enough. I live in the city, so I walk to and from work. I work in the city. Well, I live in Paddy and walk in the city. Finding ways, obviously, to help the environment and to help my pocket for travelling. We have Ubers, we have Limes, we have public transport. There is means and ways for me to get around. And those amazing people that let me with their cars, thank you, when I need them.
Shout out.
Thanks, bro. But just being thrifty, not always going out shopping, buying those expensive things. Go to clearance racks, buy cheap stuff. I buy a lot of my clothes from Salvos. Yeah, there's some cool stuff there. I live in Paddington. The one up Salvos up there in Red Hill. There's some ballin' stuff.
Yeah,
That's a hot tip.
Oh, wait, all the Paddington mums, they drop off their gear. It's great.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, just saving what you can, and just setting yourself goals. Setting yourself little goals about saving money. And then if it's not travel that you want to do, that's okay. If you do want to save up for this cool car, or you do want to save up for this awesome painting or something, I don't know, like anything, you can do it. You've just got to set little goals and tell yourself you can do it. It's just the mindset.
Be disciplined.
Yeah.
That's
Sweet.
great.
Thank
you very
on.
much.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Thanks,
We
guys.
always kind of like just lean in for a handshake at this point. It's kind of fun if we do that, but it kind of
it's
happens
formal,
every
I guess.
time,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you
Sweet.
for joining us.
That's okay.